What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Pet Shop Boys. And we're returning for a non-album single from 1994, included in the extended or expanded folder for the 1993 album Very. Thank you again to Seb. And I just want to make sure I have it right. Is it Absolutely Fabulous? Yes, Absolutely Fabulous. And it's listed as the single version, so perhaps there's some other edit or variant of this track that is out there. But yes, Absolutely Fabulous. It's a very, on the surface, positive description, and of course fabulous can carry different connotations, and depending on the context, if it's the world of fashion or if it's the world of style and appearance, I think it again can carry more particular meanings. But taking a step back from that, it is at its essence a positive description in a superlative degree. Now, of course, that could be sarcastic, and given Pet Shop Boys' songwriting, where phrases or words that might mean one thing in a given context are often turned or presented in a way that gives them more depth and or an irony, I would not be surprised if we hear something that is less straightaway enthusiastic than the title might make you think, but I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Pet Shop Boys. The track is Absolutely Fabulous, and that is a proper name title, although I'm sure the qualitative description might apply as well, and it's the single version.
Lights, models, guest list. Just do your best, darling.
Oh.
Thank you. I remember, I've known you longer than your daughter. Shampoo's alright for you, Pat. Lovely, sweetie. Should we finish off the beluga, or should we have some smoked salmon and nibbly things? Or whatever, sweetie. Alright, we'll finish off the beluga. Long summer's dawning. Long summer's dawning. Right on time, right on time. Techno, bloody techno, darling. It's fabulous, darling. English Vogue, American Vogue, French Vogue, bloody ABBA, bloody Sicilian, bloody Vogue, darling. La croix, sweetie. La croix. La croix, sweetie. La croix. Sweetie, 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 sweetie. I picked up at the traffic lights. Bun so tight he was bouncing off the wall. La croix, sweetie. La croix, sweetie. La croix, sweetie. La croix.
that is number one, hilarious. Number two, a full-on dance floor track. Number three, it sounds like it's cleverly and perhaps incisively characterizing the world of fashion and style entertainment and trends, but not necessarily fully parodying it. Parodying it. Not sure if that word can be conjugated that way, or at least pronounced once it is. Nevertheless, yeah, it sounds like it's having a bit of fun, but not necessarily like a scathing critique. I do enjoy the, I think, Chris-style sonics. It feels very early to mid-90s trance. Certainly that main melodic lead is a trance-style melody, and I like the bleepy, computerish sound of it, as well as the energetic and dynamic or rapid fire synth bass. And there's like another element in the latter half that I noticed, which almost sounds like a bit like a 303, like just a little acid squiggle in the middle of it all. And then of course we have all these samples, and some of them, you know, featuring laugh track moments or maybe live studio audience laughing moments. So I wonder where a lot of those were taken from. It does seem there was a big percentage that probably came from the same broadcast or the same source, whereas some of the others felt like maybe they could be from different recordings, or at least they sounded like a slightly different voice. But all of them were sort of chopped and used like melodic, rhythmic elements, which, you know, there's some techno that I have from the 90s or more recently where you take a vocal sample that is just a spoken word sample, but if you chop it and arrange it in a certain way, it really gives the track a rhythmic and melodic flavor or ingredient that works, so to speak. Now, a couple of them felt almost arrhythmic, like it's literally just using a funny little vocal bit. Like, what was it? Like, his buns are so tight he's bouncing off the walls or something like that. So that felt more like cheeky, but there's some that were clearly looped, kind of like in those 80s extended mixes or 12-inch mixes, but perhaps a bit more tightly and effectively. And maybe that speaks to the evolution of remix technology or remix production techniques by the time you get to the mid-90s here. But I think we only hear Neil doing that chorus of the title, and in fact it felt like his vocal was almost affected. Like when I heard it for the very first time around, I thought like, wait, is that a female voice? But I think it was Neil's voice, maybe just sped up a bit or pitched up a bit. Maybe not, maybe it was just, you know, the way he sung it had a bit higher of a pitch sound to it. But yeah, I think we only hear Neil in saying the title line, absolutely fabulous. And I like that moment at the beginning. I mean, we had a sort of bookended opening and beginning with a bit of the, you know, sampling with the track in between, but the opening bit of like, okay, like, you know, let's get going and so on, and like, you know, absolutely fabulous. I forget exactly what was said, but then she's like, okay, well, do your best, honey, which is amusing because it sounds like maybe someone doesn't have quite the shine, they don't have quite the allure, or they don't, you know, fit into the clothes exactly as well, or they don't have the right movements to really sell what they're trying to, you know, whether it's walking down the stem of a runway or making an appearance on a television show in front of all these cameras and so on. So it sounds like there was one person among those who were going to take part in this who wasn't quite up to snuff, and the director or the choreographer or someone else involved in the production was like, well, look, you know, you're in this, we can't change that now, do your best, honey. So yes, it feels like there's a bit of a, if not critique, a like, let's all just acknowledge how crazy and silly this world can be tone to the use of the samples, but at the same time it didn't feel like an excoriation or a, you know, a scathing critique of the genre or the industry or the field, just a lighthearted jest, if you will. But yes, again, as someone who likes 90s trance, a lot of the sonics were in that vein, though again, maybe with more vocal sampled loops than I normally expect from trance back then in, you know, my background and listening to like rave trance and so on. In any case, a fun tune, a cheeky tune. I do wonder what people think about it. Do let me know, and I will see you next time. Peace.